Hello and welcome to Terraria. My name's Todd, and last time we left off, we beat the game. So yeah, we defeated the Moon Lord, we beat the game, we even watched the cool credits rolling. So yeah, that was pretty awesome. This time around, we're gonna do a boss rush. Yeah, you heard me, a boss rush. So I'm gonna actually show off a couple things before we start the boss rush. I'm gonna show off, so this is the character we originally started the series on. And the one we played for most of our time. I did not at any point use my other characters. As you can see, they have much longer playtime. This is the playtime right next to their names. This is my main character. This is the character I've played mostly with friends and off camera. There was a couple times when I used this character to farm in certain worlds. The Purity is the world that we created for that. I have a bunch of different worlds here with a bunch of different names. Just ignore some of those rather silly names. Those are just worlds that I had with friends. We're going to go over to Universum Fatum. So this is the major world that I've put most of my time into creating. And as you can see, our character looks kind of like a badass. So I'll describe a lot of this just as quickly as I can. This is mostly all the time I've put into Terraria and all the different things that I've gotten. You can see I've gotten the 4 major armor sets. I've got a bunch of different weapons up on my wall in case I decide to use those. I'll be using them. I just got a massive base here. And this is kind of how I would lay out your NPCs if I were you. So you got like one massive base in like a forested area. You've got a base over in a mushroom biome with that's in the jungle, because the jungle is kind of a great place to get mud, which is a great place to create a mushroom biome, and we'll head over there and I'll show off these different areas in just a second. We do have one jungle housing for NPCs. We also have one over in the hollow, and we have one by the ocean. The only other one we have is one down here in the underground. So when you get enough NPCs and they're happy enough, they will sell you a pylon, and that's this like floating crystal thing here. And if I click on it, it will show me the map, and then I can actually teleport to these different pylons, but I'll show that off in just a second. So as you can see, I've got a bunch of the different boss trophies from all the different bosses and a bunch of different art and statues that I've just kind of collected and placed around. So usually when I play these characters, these high-level characters, I typically run the magic set, which is the Nebula set. So I'll describe a bit more about this set and some of the other items when I go over to the next character I'll be going over to, but I just wanted to show this off, just kind of show that this is what I've done in normal Terraria, and these are all chests filled with different items. You can see I've labeled them like miscellaneous and valuables and whatnot, and that's just kind of my world. I just wanted to show that off just as kind of like a show that I have definitely done all this stuff in normal Terraria before I go to the next part of Terraria. So the next part of Terraria, I'll save and exit out of there, is Journey. Now I'm going to show off most of what I'm going to show off, and I'm also going to be fighting the bosses in Journey. And the reason for that being, it's just kind of easier to do it in Journey because we'll be able to skip time around, and that'll allow us to effectively fight the different bosses. So yeah, so this is my Journey world. I built this wonderful big tower here. And yeah, I've just kind of like set up a Journey world. This is Journey mode, and if you haven't had the chance to check out Journey mode, it's effectively similar to Creative in Minecraft. You can effectively spawn stuff in, so most of the stuff that I have on me is just kind of like spawned in. And the way that works is effectively we have a duplication menu here. So these are all the different items I can just straight up duplicate into my inventory. That's not stored in a storage, that's just straight comes out of nowhere. I can just duplicate those infinitely. I can literally duplicate the best health potions in the game infinitely. The way you do so is you put them into this little box here. We'll go ahead and throw some wood in. And if this number isn't 100 out of 100 or whatever number required, you can put it in there and hit research. It will consume the item, but it'll allow you to, if you have enough of them in your research, to produce them infinitely. So that's Journey mode. Now, I said I was going to show off the pylons and kind of show off the areas. So we'll head over to my hollow on this world. So you can see I just set up like little housing from NPCs, so they're a little bit happier, and you can get certain items by being in the hollow and whatnot, and that's how the pylon teleportation works. You can still use normal teleporters, like I've got one for my jungle here. This is a teleporter set up with wires. This is something I didn't really show off previously, but I will show off somewhat of what it is. I think I showed off some wiring and how all that works with the grand design. Let me find my... Don't I have a grand... I don't have a grand design? Surely I have a grand design. I just haven't probably thrown it in the machine. Where's my grand design? Is it in my safe? It's not in my safe. Where is it? Is it in here? It's not in here. Oh. I thought I had a grand design. Maybe I just had wrenches. Let's see. Nope, that's not right. Oh, gosh. Completely fumbling it here. There we go. Multicolor wrench. Okay, so with a wrench, you can effectively lay these wires. You can see I've got the wires set up. I've got these wires for a bunch of different things. Specifically for like defending my NPCs with these little blocks that I've placed. And also for the teleporters. These teleporters are just connected with one single wire that goes all the way from one teleporter to the other, and then a switch to activate the teleporter. That's really all it is. Not very complicated. You can buy the teleporters and switches from the Steampunker, which I don't even know where she is right now. She might be dead. Or maybe I don't have a house for her. It could be one of many things. But yeah, you can buy teleporters and switches from the Steampunker, which allows that to work. What are some of the other things I can talk about? Oh, I can talk about all the different armors. So when you defeat the Moonlord, as you would have saw previously in the previous episode, we got a bag, an expert bag. Let me find it in my duplication menu here. Okay, so you got a treasure bag, and these are the Moonlord treasure bags. As you can see, I can duplicate an infinite amount of treasure bags in journey mode. Kind of OP, I know. Makes getting developer sets super easy. But effectively, this is what would have been in a Moonlord bag. So it would have spawned one random weapon, which we got the last prism. It would have spawned a celestial starboard, because we're on expert. A suspicious looking tentacle. A spiked gravity globe, and a bunch of luminite. So luminite can be forged into luminite bars. Let me go do that real quick. At any titanium or adamantite forge, I think, or is it the universal manipulator? Okay, it's at the universal manipulator. You can make luminite ore into luminite bars, and with luminite bars you can effectively make the armors that I'm currently wearing. So the nebula armor, let me pull them out. So I showed off in the previous character that I was on the nebula armor, the solar armor, the vortex armor, and the stardust armor. Those are made with their respective fragments and the bars. So I don't think I even got enough bars for one full set. Let me double check that claim though. We're going to go in materials, so I can copy fragments. We'll go ahead and copy some nebula fragments. 8, 16, 12. Yeah, we didn't even get enough for one full set of armor, so we would have to fight the Moonlord twice. So the other thing you can get from the Moonlord, so the Celestial Starboard is effectively a set of wings. I actually use it as my set of wings. It is very good. It goes very, very fast. Let me take off my vanity so you can kind of see what it looks like. So this is what it looks like. It looks like the More You Know star, and it's very fast, very good. We do have an item here, which gives us infinite flight and rocket boot flight. So that gives us the option for infinite flight, but even without the infinite flight, we still move pretty quick on this thing. And eventually when it falls off, then it just falls off. And that's the Celestial Starboard. It's probably the best set of wings in my opinion. I'm currently doing what they call a hover, which means I'm pressing down and to the side, which makes you go faster to the side, which some of the more advanced wings can do. You can see you can press down to toggle hover. So that's all I'm doing. Yeah, very, very good set of wings, so I recommend using those once you get them. The suspicious looking tentacle is a light pet. I'm currently already equipped with it. You can see it's this little guy right here. Let me go ahead and turn off my cosmetic pet there. But yeah, it's this little guy right here. He looks around and he lights up the area just as effectively as a wisp does. I'm going to go ahead and put my vanity back on here before I forget. I'm also going to put our infinite flight back on. I have some very, very good items on this character, so I'll be explaining them as I go along here before we start the boss rush, but the boss rush will come after that. I'm just describing what's going on first before I get there. So the suspicious looking tentacle is quite good. He's a light pet similar to the wisp in a bottle, but as you can see, I've got a little bit of the spelunker effect going on, and that's caused by the suspicious looking tentacle. He'll actually look towards valuable items or interesting NPCs. Like the little iris will like turn towards them, so you can kind of see where those are. So it's a very good light pet, and I really like him. He keeps up with you 100%. He never falls behind, no matter how fast you go. So I think he's pretty good. The last item you got was the gravity globe, and the gravity globe is an accessory. I'm just going to go ahead and dump all this stuff. Even though it's Moonlord drops, I don't need them because, like you saw, I can spawn in Moonlord bags, so I'm not worried about them. I really wouldn't do what I just did with stuff if I was in Standard, but I'm in Journey. So it's a accessory, which if you slap it into your accessory slot, you can now toggle gravity the same way you did with a gravitational potion, but this is infinite. So you can have the gravitational effect forever. It's a pretty cool item, although once you get infinite flight, thanks to the soaring insignia, which I will be showing off who you get that from and how it's possible to get that shortly. So yeah, that is effectively everything I think I need to explain about all that stuff. So the idea is, with this boss rush, is I'm going to be using some of my wonderful items I've gotten here. So I have currently, I'm going to use the Zenith. The Zenith is the best weapon in Terraria, hands down. I can show how to craft it real quick. Let me just pull out all the different items you need for it. So to craft Zenith, you need a bunch of different swords. I'm pretty sure you need a copper short sword. Let's see. We need a copper short sword. I know I've saved all the different swords into my inventory, so we need a Star Wrath. Star Wrath and Meowmere are items which you drop from the Moonlord, so you have to defeat the Moonlord enough times to get those two items, Star Wrath and Meowmere. A Terrablade, which has a lengthy crafting process, which I'm not going to go over. A Horseman's Blade, which you get from the Halloween event, which I will be doing here, so we can see that. We need an Influx Waver, which drops from the UFO event, which I've shown off. Have I shown off the UFO event? Let me think. Yeah, I think I did the Martian event. I could be wrong. We will be doing the Martian event anyway, so we're good there. The Beekeeper. Let me see. Let me go talk with the guide real quick and we'll find out what else we need. So we're just slapping our copper short sword. So this is the Zenith crafting recipe. So you need the copper short sword, the enchanted sword, the Beekeeper, Star Fury, Seedler, Horseman's Blade, Influx Waver, Star Wrath, Meowmere, and the Terrablade. The Terrablade, if I remember correctly, is forged. Here I can show off how that was forged real quick too. So we have a True Knight's Edge. Let me pull out that. And also Excalibur. Where's my Excalibur? I could have swore I had an Excalibur in here ready to go. God, I'm terrible at this. Excalibur. Okay, so we want the normal Excalibur. So using a normal Knight's Edge. Do I even have a Knight's Edge? I do. Let me pull out. So using, we'll pull out this Muramasa so we can show that off. So using the first step is you gotta get a Muramasa, a Blood Butcher, a Blade of Grass, and a Fiery Greatsword. Those are all made in their own different ways, and I'm not gonna really go over them, but those combined make the Knight's Edge. And the Excalibur plus some Chlorophyte bars makes a true Excalibur. Same with the Knight's Edge. So you combine the Knight's Edge to make the true Knight's Edge, and both of those items combined, dang it. Both of those items combined, let's get it out here. A true Knight's Edge and a true Excalibur plus a broken hero sword make the Terrablade. So that's how you make the Terrablade effectively. Not going to go too much more in depth than that, but effectively that gives us the Zenith. Now I've reforged my Zenith to Legendary because I can, and it's also the most effective. As I stated, I typically wear the Nebula set because I enjoy playing with other people, and when I do play with other people, I like helping them do more damage. The Nebula's major bonus is that it magic damage to any enemies spawns buff boosters. Those buff boosters give you massive damage increases. And so when you're playing with other people, I love using the Nebula set. It's really fun. But for the purpose of our boss rush, we're going to go with the Solar Armor, which is the melee armor variant, because we'll be using the Zenith. And so I'm going to equip purely damaging accessories. So I'm not going to equip anything that doesn't increase our damage. Let me go with this, actually. Let's go ahead and take that. Okay. So we've got full damage accessories. Nothing on us doesn't increase our damage. We got the Destroyer Emblem, which is a combination of a Golem Eye, or Eye of the Golem, and an Avenger Emblem, which you can get the Eye of the Golem from the Golem, of course, and the Avenger Emblem, you've seen me craft a couple of those in the previous episodes, and it allows you to make the Destroyer Emblem. You've watched me craft the Mechanical Glove, and also the Fire Gauntlet. I have both of those equipped. Warrior Emblem, of course, drops from the Wall of Flesh. And this is the Celestial Shell. This is an exceptionally hard item to get. Let me see. It's got its own entire crafting tree, and I will pull that up. I will try my best to pull that up here once I find the accessories page. There we go. So from a Sunstone. So from a Sunstone, which drops from the Golem, you combine that with a Moonstone, which drops from vampires during a solar eclipse, to create the Celestial Stone. You combine that with, let me find it, a Neptune Shell. So you combine that with a Moon Charm and a Neptune Shell. A Moon Charm turns you into a werewolf, and a Neptune Shell turns you into a Merfolk when entering water. So the Neptune Shell drops from things from the deep, I believe, which also are from a solar eclipse, and the Moon Charm drops from werewolves, which can be spawned during solar eclipse or just regularly, I believe, in expert mode at certain times. I think full moons. And then you combine all those items together. So let's show that off. So we combine the shell and the Moonstone into the Moon Shell, which we combine with the Celestial Stone to make a Celestial Shell. So Celestial Shell effectively has all the effects of those items combined into one. You can see it just has a ton of different effects. I'm not really going to go over all of them, and if you want a more detailed crafting tree, I recommend just looking up the wiki, because that's kind of the best thing to do. So yeah, I'm going to be using the Zenith for this boss rush. As you can see, it is a crazy, crazy looking item. You throw out magical swords. These swords are homing, and they also cover this entire area. Anything in the area, even the area in between the swords, takes the damage from the Zenith, and it just does so much damage. You can see that my legendary Zenith currently does 508 melee damage per hit, with an insane amount of critical strike chance. Even though it says average speed, that doesn't really matter for the Zenith. The Zenith does so much damage, it's not even a problem. I'll also be using some other items. I was going to originally do this without God mode. I guess I should have brought that up first. In Journey mode, because it's like creative mode, you also have options to change the weather, change the time, and change a lot of other things. One of the major things is God mode. Effectively, if you don't know what God mode is, it means that I am immortal, invincible, and cannot be hit by enemies. Massively effective, and I will be using it for this boss rush. The major reason why I'm using this is just because I don't really feel like dying to any of these bosses. Even though I have all these overpowered items, it is still definitely possible to die. I'm mostly just showing off how fast you can do things, and how fast you can kill some of these bosses. Just because it's like meant to be a teaser. I'm not really showing off how strong these bosses are. And there will be one boss I will show off how strong it is, just because of the fact that I know it's easy to spawn that boss. And I also want to show off its special mechanic, but I will do that just for that specific boss. So that boss I will turn off God mode, but the rest of them I won't. So yeah, that's the Zenith. We also have the Rainbow Crystal Staff, which also drops from Moonlord. and the Terra Prisma, which drops from the Empress of Light, but only if you defeat her during the day. Now, that's the boss that I will be turning off God mode for, because I want to show off the fact that that boss will one-shot you. They will, the Empress of Light during the day, because she enrages, will hit you one time and you will die. So if you're hit at any point during the Empress of Light fight, you will, during the day, you will pretty much just keel over. I think it does like 900,999 damage to you instantly. So there's no way to avoid it, you just die. No amount of armor can save you. I think dodges could save you, but the chance of getting a dodge during that is suicidal at best, and you'll see why. So yeah, this is the item setup I'll be using. I don't have to have my magic items on here because I won't be using them, but I will be using everything else. Aside from that, I'll be using literally every single buff potion that I can in the game that would increase my damage. A Flask of Ichor, Seafood Dinner, Regeneration Potion, Swiftness Potion, Iron Skin Potion, Sake, Summoning Potions, Endurance Potions, Rage Potions, and Wrath Potions. If you want to look up what each of those potions does, you can pause the video when I mouse over each of them. Actually, you know what? We don't need Iron Skin. Iron Skin and Regeneration. I don't need either of those either, because I'm going to be in God mode. I was using those for doing some testing earlier, and I don't really need them anymore. So yeah, we're going to be doing our boss rush. So I'm just going to go ahead and head over to the desert over here. I'm kind of slow because of the fact that I've taken off all my mobility accessories in favor of damage, but I just want to show off how much damage you can really do if you kind of maximize it. Let me also, real quick, I'm going to come back here for just a second. I want to pick up a summoning table and a sharpening station. So the sharpening station increases armor penetration for melee weapons, and bewitching table, of course, gives you one more minion slot. We're going to be using those before each of the bosses just to make sure that we've got our buffs up as well for that. So we're going to show off just how fast you can defeat each of the bosses. And I'm just going over here to the desert to fight this first boss. Let me check my time. It's currently 12 a.m. Let's go ahead and set us to... because the nice part about Journey Mode is the fact that I can set the time. So I can set it to dusk, which is literally just at night, which means right before the time when it's best to fight bosses. So let's go ahead and put down our sharpening station. We'll go ahead and pick that back up. We'll go ahead and put down the witching table, and we'll pick that back up. So we'll go ahead and use those two. Actually, yeah, we'll use them and pick them back up. We'll go ahead and buff up with all our different buffs. You can see we got a ton of different buffs now, and we do so much damage. The Terra Prisma, by the way, summons a sword that just flies around and wrecks your enemies. Just the Terra Prisma by itself does a lot of damage. The Rainbow Crystal Staff, in my opinion, is the best sentry, so we'll also be using that. So let's go ahead and just go down the list of boss summoning items. Consumables. So we'll just pull out Suspicious Looking Eye, Slime Crown, a Beam Emanation, Clothier Voodoo Doll, Guide Voodoo Doll, Eternia Crystal, Gelatin Crystal, so these are all the different bosses that we will be going through in this little rush here. I'm going to try and make this as quick as possible, but, you know, I can only make it so quick. And we will be going through all of them, though. Golem, Truffle Worm, Prismatic Lacewing, Celestial Sigil, Pirate Map, and yes, I will be doing the Moonlord again, so... These are all the different bosses. I'm pretty sure I haven't missed any aside from the Brain of Cthulhu, which we will be fighting over here. And because this is a Crimson World, I'm not going to do the Eater of Worlds. I'm just going to do the Brain of Cthulhu for this rush. Oh well, Eater of Worlds isn't that difficult anyway, you'll see. Let's go ahead and summon. This is the Eye of Cthulhu. There he is. So we got that, and that is the Eye of Cthulhu. This is Master Mode, by the way. Even though I didn't take damage, because I'm in God Mode, that's just how fast you can defeat Eye of Cthulhu. To prove to anyone, by the way, that it's Master Mode, here's the enemy difficulty slider. In Journey Mode, you can change the difficulty at will, and this is Master Mode. I will not be turning off Master Mode at any point. Go ahead and summon the King Slime. And as soon as he gets on screen, honestly, it's probably best for us to go to him. That's King Slime. I never said I would make these bosses hard when I said I was doing this rush, by the way. So, yeah. What's next? I guess we have Queen Bee. I can only summon Queen Bee in the jungle. Let me head back home. And we'll go over to the jungle real quick. Oh yeah, I also don't have a summoning item for Plantera because Plantera doesn't have a summoning item. It's just the bulbs. And summon Queen Bee. And that was Queen Bee. Not showing off really much of their attacks because not really a reason to, honestly. Okay, so now we've got the Clothier Voodoo Doll, which, where's my Clothier? He's over there. We're gonna go fight Skeletron. So the way you fight Skeletron is you equip the Clothier Voodoo Doll into one of your slots, and this allows you to attack the Clothier. When you kill the Clothier, he drops his hat and summons Skeletron. That was Skeletron, by the way. I'm sorry if you didn't get the chance to see him. He kind of died instantaneously. So yeah, that's what you do with the Clothier Voodoo Doll. And let's see, what other... Okay, so the only other enemy we have to fight in pre-hard mode is, you guessed it, the Wall of Flesh. Let's go sacrifice the guide to the horrid demon gods. Let's see. I don't think I can... Let me go ahead and pull out something real quick. Let me get rid of these. Let me pull out my wings, my Celestial Starboard. So one other item you get when you defeat the Moon Lord that I didn't talk about is you get a portal gun. Yes, from Portal. You always get one of these, but only one of them. And if you have one in your inventory currently, you will not get one from a Moon Lord's bag. So the only way to get another one is to get rid of your current one. But yes, it functions just like a portal gun you'd expect. Left click for one portal, right click for the other, and then you can go through it and enter one portal, come out the other. It's a portal gun. Now another funny thing about the portal gun is it also activates somewhat of physics, which means that you can go very, very, very fast when you fall with the portal gun. So I always kind of have the portal gun on me just for the sheer fact is you could throw on your wings, throw on a portal gun, and you're just so fast. Oh, criminies, that was a terrible voice crack. You're just so unbelievably fast when you're like that. So we'll go ahead and take our wings back off. What did we took off? That. Okay, we'll take those back off. Okay, now we'll take our Guide Voodoo Doll, and we'll throw it in the lava. Hey, Wall of Flesh, how's it going? You're dead now. So yeah, that was the Wall of Flesh. Definitely not as hard the second time around. So let's see. We'll sort out our inventory here. Get rid of the slime. I don't need that in my inventory. Okay, so the next boss that we're going to go at is we're going to tackle... Oh, excuse me. We're going to probably tackle... I guess we could do Queen Slime. Where's my hollow? My hollow's over there. Let's go ahead and do Queen Slime, because I think that's the order that we did her in last time. And we'll just use our pylon to teleport over the hollow. Alright, so we'll go ahead and summon Queen Slime. I think Queen Slime got stuck in the crimson over here. Yeah. So there's Queen Slime. And even though she's a hard mode boss, she's not really all that hard, let's be honest. So that was Queen Slime. If you couldn't already tell, this is pretty much how most of this is going to go. There's only a couple points where I'm going to struggle, and you'll see them. Or struggle to kill certain things, and you'll see them. Mostly the Moon Lord. So let's come back to our base here. Let me go back over to the area with the desert. You might see like this giant blue thing here. That's an area full of water. I was testing out the mount that we're currently riding, the Shrimpy Truffle, and I needed kind of a really big area to move around in because I was fighting bosses with it. The Shrimpy Truffle's main benefit is that even though it's not very quick, when you get low health or are in water, you gain a damage bonus. So it's a really good mount for that reason alone. Let's go ahead and reset time back to the time we need it to be. Dusk. So we can go ahead and fight the twins. So these are the twins. There's one of them dead. And there's the other one dead. So that's how powerful you are at the end, is the twins really don't matter. Let's go ahead and fight the Destroyer of Worlds. And the Destroyer of Worlds is down. We'll pop out the Mechanical Skull for Skeleton Prime. And that's Skeletron Prime. Even with his hands still up, he really wasn't that much of a problem. Okay, so now we've only got like the couple endgame bosses. I just realized I forgot Brain of Cthulhu, didn't I? Oops. Let's head over to the ocean on that side of the world, because I think I have a... yeah, I need to go over there. So let me head over there. As we're heading over there, because we need to fight two bosses over there, we need to fight Fishron, Duke Fishron, which is one of the secret bosses that I skipped over, and also we'll be fighting the Brain of Cthulhu as well. I will not kill Duke Fishron instantly, so you can kind of see his phases, because we didn't get the chance to when we were doing our expert. I'll kind of take him easy, so you can see his different phases and potentially plan out how you want to fight him yourself. I mostly skipped over Duke Fishron and the Empress of Light just because of the fact that it really wasn't worth the time to really fight them at that moment. They are quite difficult of bosses if you haven't defeated the Moonlord. I honestly recommend leaving them for after the Moonlord just because they kind of become trivial at that point. At least, sort of. Empress of Light never truly becomes trivial because in her day form, she just one-shots you no matter what armor you're wearing, even if you're wearing the best armor in the game. It doesn't matter. So we'll go down here and we'll summon the Brain of Cthulhu. My Fishron mount is very slow, I know. Okay, now we've gotten through here. Okay, so here is Crimson Heart. Go ahead and just crack that open. Go ahead and open that. That's my hammer, by the way. My hammer is the axe. This is dropped from Plantera, and I think it's the best hammer in the game, personally. Its hammer and axe power is really good. Comparable to even the solar or the lunar versions. Go ahead and summon the Brain of Cthulhu. Here's the Brain of Cthulhu. Now, the differences between Master Mode and Expert Mode are non-existent, really. The Expert Mode phases have the exact same layout. I just realized I don't have these bags unlocked for duplication. Let me go ahead. That's how the research function works. If I get two more, I can duplicate those infinitely. But yeah, the Master Mode bosses, I don't think they have any extra phases, but they do have more health, and they do far more damage. At least as far as I remember. I don't think any of the Master Mode bosses have any extra phases. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think so. So we got our golden fishing rod. We'll go ahead and fish up Fishron. And that's Fishron. So if you have a shrimping truffle, or if you have, yeah, if you have a shrimpy truffle, I mean not shrimpy truffle, if you have the bait for Duke Fishron, you summon Duke Fishron, and here he is. He's spooky. He moves actually quite quickly, and he has lots of different ranged attacks, as you can see. He's kind of a dangerous boss to fight. Homing bubbles, shark tornadoes, Duke Fishron's spooky. So yeah, if you're gonna fight him, I would recommend you definitely have a better arena set up. I mean, like quite a good arena. You do have to fight him in the jungle biome because he does not spawn, or I mean he enrages outside of the jungle biome, and you do not want to fight him in rage because he's even faster and does way more damage. So we're gonna hit him a couple of times to try and get him to go into his next phase. Is this his next phase? Okay, so this is his next phase. This is his second phase, and he moves even faster and attacks even faster in his second phase. So he's pretty terrifying, and this is his third phase. At least I think he's going to. Nope. Just spawning Shark Tornado. At a certain health value, he goes into his third phase. Where is this third phase? Go ahead. Go into your third phase. Okay, so this is his third phase. You can see that he kind of goes dark when he's finished his... he kind of goes like more of a blackish color when he stops charging now, and in his third phase he's somewhat... I think he takes either slightly less damage or it's just much harder to hit him when he's like darkened like that. Like he is right there. So that is Duke Fishron. And some of his drops are the Shrimpy Truffle is his guaranteed drop on expert mode, and it's the mount that I'm currently riding. I also got the Razor Blade Typhoon. It's a pretty good magical spell. Shoots out these razor blades that home into on enemies and do pretty good damage. So yeah, that is Duke Fishron. I didn't really get the chance to show him off, and I am just now showing him off, but he's pretty cool. So let's head back to our base. And let's see, who do I want to fight next? Let me go ahead and put these back down. I don't want to do any of the event bosses because those will take some time. Let's go ahead and go with the Golem. Do I have... where does this teleporter go? This goes to the dungeon, okay. Oh man. I have to go all the way down there to get to the... okay. I forgot that I have not bothered to actually set up a easier way to go down to the Golem on this world, but I will probably do that eventually. Let's just head on down. So I will be fighting the Golem next, and then I will do the Empress of Light in both of her modes. And I will turn off God mode so you can see that the Empress of Light today will just one-shot you no matter what you're wearing, even if you're full health. Mind you, I'm at full health with the most armor I could physically have. I have 85 armor, at least just with armor. Of course, do have just pure damage accessories, but you'll see that she does so much damage that it won't even matter. I'll just get one shot. Let's see. After the Golem, Empress of Light, and after the Empress of Light, it will be the Moon Lord, and then after that I will be doing all the events. So I have all the different event items. I have the pirate map. All the events that I should say have bosses. So we have the Pumpkin Moon, the Frost Moon, the pirate map, and the Eternia Crystal. Each of those has their own different boss, and I'll be fighting each of the different bosses as I go along. You can see that the Zenith is insanely good because it passes through walls and projects light. There's no reason pretty much to use any other weapon once you get the Zenith. Oh, I forgot about Plantera. How did I forget about Plantera? It's a good thing that this Plantera bulb was right here, because now I don't have to forget about Plantera anymore. Let's go ahead and summon Plantera. I struggled with Plantera, if I remember correctly, in my playthrough. And this is Plantera. Even though I'm in God mode, she's still not very spooky, because of just how quickly I would have destroyed her. Oh yeah, I forgot. About Master Mode, the one thing that does change when you defeat the bosses is you sometimes get more pets. So they're like little cosmetics, it's mostly what they added to Master Mode. But yeah, nothing I really need to worry about there. I also forgot that I can teleport freely because of God Mode. I don't have to worry about running out of HP. So that was Plantera, and let's go find Golem as soon as I can get to him. There we go. Teleported into the temple here. There we go, and here we are. Fresh and ready to fight the Golem. So the Golem really wasn't that much of an issue even in my expert mode playthrough, and he's really not much of an issue here either. As you can see, it's kind of wrecked. So next we'll fight the Empress of Light in both of her modes. Let me grab another prismatic lace wing because we need to fight her twice. Actually, we need to fight her 3 times because I'm going to die for one of them. I just know it. Alright, so we'll summon back. And after the Empress of Light, I'll be doing the event items, and then the very last boss we'll fight is the Moon Lord. And I'll show how quickly you could kill the Moon Lord, because it's pretty quick. Okay. So you fight the Empress of Light during the nighttime. If you fight her during the day, she has a special enraged mode, and again, I'll show that off here. Let's fight her during the nighttime first, so I don't have to come back here multiple or too many more times. So we'll start during nighttime. Prismatic lace wings can sometimes be found in the hollow. They look like that. If you break them, you summon the Empress of Light. She looks amazing. I'm going to show off some of her attacks just by kind of like slightly moving around. You can see that she's very, very fast. She does a lot of damage. She makes Duke Fishron look simple. She's quite difficult to fight. All of her attacks are rainbow themed and really cool. But yeah, she is definitely not an easy thing to dodge. She's pretty much like a Toho boss, or like a bullet hell boss. She's very, very hard to dodge most of the time. But during the nighttime, she's not enraged, and she's much easier. So we'll go ahead and... I don't think she actually has a second phase. We'll go ahead and wait. See. Oh, she does actually have a second phase. I didn't realize she had a second phase. It's when you're fighting the Empress of Light, you usually don't have enough time to really pay attention to her second phase because of how much she moves around. Yeah, she does have a second phase, and she's just as deadly in her second phase, if not more deadly, I'm sure. She attacks faster and probably moves faster too. I'll go ahead and defeat her. There we go. And so we managed to get all of her stuff. You might be noticing I'm getting these relics. These are also a master mode thing. Those are cosmetic statues that you can place down. So we'll go ahead and take a look at her treasure bag. So the one thing you always get in expert mode from the Empress of Light is a soaring insignia, which gives you infinite flight. Extremely useful for mobility, and probably one of my favorite items that they added in journey mode. You can also get a bunch of different weapons and whatnot, but I won't be showing off every single boss drop because I didn't for any of the other bosses. The soaring insignia is the insignia I had equipped in the previous world, though, as you saw. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to change it to Dawn. And we're going to turn off God mode. God mode is disabled. I can now take damage. Just to show that, I'm going to drop from a reasonable height and take a little bit of damage. Yeah, so I took a little bit of damage there. So yeah, we're going to summon her. And you'll see that she will instantly kill me the second she touches me. 41,755 damage. So yeah, during the daytime, she does so much damage that it's very, very, very hard to fight her. I highly recommend that you fight her during the nighttime first, get the infinite flight, and then use the infinite flight against her, because it's exceptionally effective to use the infinite flight and also the Celestial Starboard to really fight her. But we'll go ahead and enable God mode again, and we'll go back over and we'll fight her one more time. And we'll show you what she drops when she's in her enraged mode. So in her enraged mode, of course, like I said, she is a one-shot kill pretty much. Exceptionally effective. You know, she's double enraged because she's in her second phase and also daytime. But yeah, so she drops the Terra Prisma. If she's killed during the day. Now the Terra Prisma is a very, very good weapon. It's, as you've seen, it's a homing sword. It's comparable to the dragon, the Stardust Dragon. In my opinion, it's slightly better. So that's why I tend to use it over the Stardust Dragon, just because of its homing capability and its ability to do damage, even while you only have one of them. It does a lot of damage. Alright, so next we will be doing all the different wave events. We'll start with the pirate invasion, because that'll take a little bit for that to get here. After I'm done with all the bosses, I will be changing worlds real quick to just kind of show off one last little thing on my characters. And just kind of saying goodbye, mostly, for the last part. Because that's kind of the end of the series. There's not really anything else you can do outside of the rest of these events and the bosses and collecting a bunch of different items, creating cool arenas, like I created this giant pool of water. Now you're wondering maybe what this material here is. It's just bubbles. They can be placed. You can go through them though. They act like solid blocks to liquids, such as water, and you can buy them from the party girl. There you go. You just buy those from the party girl. So if you're wondering how to create this weird block I've created, that's how you do it. These campfires are just ultra bright campfires. There's nothing else special about them. And I've also just, the yellow line that I've also created here is a line of honey. So the bubbles work on both honey and water. And I think they work on lava too, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure why you'd want a giant floating pool of lava though. So we're just going to fight a bunch of pirates. I think once you defeat the Moon Lord, the princess spawns, if I'm not mistaken. She's like one of the last NPCs you can get. So yeah, a lot of my NPCs have died in this world because I tend to just do events repeatedly and I don't really worry about their safety. I probably should worry about their safety. Oh well. Another time. The only thing we're trying to get by doing this pirate invasion is we're trying to get a Flying Dutchman to spawn. Oh, I didn't even know she had some of this stuff. This stuff's kind of cool. Never really bothered to check out what she had. I was just looking at it for a second. I think Flying Dutchman spawns in them around like 50%. I think where they start spawning. Lots of different items that pirates can drop. I've never seen a pirate ghost. That's slightly new. I didn't know that was a thing. Okay, so there's a Flying Dutchman. So the Flying Dutchman is a giant pirate ship and it just shoots at you. Yeah, not very thrilling. The one thing that you can get on Master Mode that like has a massive benefit to you is the Black Spot, which is a mount that drops from the Flying Dutchman. Or at least one of the few things you can get on Master Mode. Yeah, so there it is. You have to destroy the Flying Dutchman by targeting its cannons. You can't actually hit the ship itself, you just target the cannons. You can see once you destroyed all the cannons, you've destroyed the Flying Dutchman. So I'll just go ahead and mop up the rest of this event. The princess has left. Okay, so that was the pirate event. I don't think I'm not sure if I ever did the Martians. Did I ever do the Martians? I don't remember. I feel like I did, but I feel like they kind of just destroyed me. Let me head over to one of the oceans first. I forgot I had the conch. So this is I have a magic conch, which is an item that you can get from fishing in lava. Or I think that's where you get it. It brings you to the ocean. Actually, is that where you get it? Or maybe you get it from fishing. You get it from fishing. I don't remember where you get it from fishing. Maybe it's not in lava. I'm going to head up here and I'm going to try and get a Martian probe to spawn. So when you're in hard mode and you're up in the sky, specifically like especially up here in the what is it? Up here in the like space biome, you have a chance of spawning a Martian probe, which I'm going to crank up my enemy spawn rate. Try and get a Martian probe. Okay, so this is a Martian probe. So if they see you, they will go red like that, and if they get away, Martians start invading. The way you can prevent that from happening is just is to kill the probe before it can get away. That's the way you can prevent that from happening. Let's go ahead and turn down my spawn rate. So the slider here, of course, affects how fast enemies spawn. I just want it to be normal now. So the Martians are pretty dangerous enemies. And they have a boss specific to them. The UFO. Pretty sure they also spawn a boss around 50%. Martians are pretty dangerous, even though I'm not making them look dangerous. They are pretty dangerous. So just be aware of that if you go to fight Martians yourself. The UFOs drop some really, really useful items, like a UFO mount, which has infinite flight. Some pretty good weaponry. A really good summon. I'm trying to remember if the UFOs drop anything else. Oh, they drop the influx favor, so that you do need to destroy the Martians for sure if you want to get the Zenith. So there's the UFO. It's the same, similar to the Flying Dutchman in that you destroy all its cannons first, but it does have a secondary phase. I'll try and push it in that second phase. Okay, so now it's in its second phase. You destroy the saucer itself. In its second phase, it's much faster. You might notice that laser looks very similar to the Moonlord's laser, and it acts kind of the same. You can dodge it, but honestly, it's good to teleport around it too. Go ahead and destroy this Martian saucer. And yeah, that's the Martian saucer. So that's 2 of the event bosses. We only have 2 more, or 3 more, that is. Let me go ahead and just get rid of this event. Get to work on the next one. So we have 3 more events. And if I said 3 more bosses, I was wrong. I said many more bosses in those events. Each event has like, I think it has 3 or 2 at the very least bosses. I could be wrong about that, I'm not sure. Definitely has a lot of different types of bosses, so we'll be seeing a lot of different enemies. What else? Okay. Kill on Martians, be done with it. I am done with you, saucer attacking us from off screen. Saucers are quite dangerous. They do a lot of damage. And if I wasn't invincible, I would have them. Oh, there's the Xenostaff. That's the, some of these little Martian saucers. They teleport to your enemies and attack them. They're pretty good. But I prefer my Terra Prisma. Alright, there we go. That is the Martian invasion. So the only other things that we have to do are the Pumpkin Moon, the Naughty Present, and the Eternia event. We'll save the Eternia event for last, just because it's going to be the longest for sure, I'm positive. We'll go ahead and set our time to dusk. Since we're over here in the desert, we'll go ahead and summon the Pumpkin Moon. So when the Pumpkin Moon starts, you get you can summon this anywhere, but you get a bunch of Halloween-themed enemies. They're all kind of cutesy. First wave is Scarecrows, the second wave is Scarecrows and Splinterlings. And I keep listing out the waves, you can see them down in the bottom left. But yeah, effectively as the waves progress, you fill up that bar at the bottom. And unlike in other wave type events, this one only ends when it becomes morning. So even if you fill up that bar, that doesn't mean anything. That only means the event has somewhat come to a close. So there's the Splinter, or the Morning Wood, which is the first boss that you can encounter. He just kind of does that flamethrower attack. He has a couple other attacks, I think, but none of them are super threatening. We'll definitely see enough of them as time goes on. So he has that flamethrower attack. What else does he have? Is he not going to do any of his other attacks? I guess he just wants to do the flamethrower attack. Those flames do persist over time, though, so they stay around. So even if you hit him after he shoots them. Okay, so the second boss we've got is the Pumpkin King. You have to fight these Pumpkin Kings to defeat, or to get the Pumpkin King's blade. Which, yeah, these Pumpkin Kings have this sort of attack pattern, and those blades do hit you. They do melee damage, so stay away from them. He also does, his pumpkin head also does melee damage, so stay away from that too. Yeah, so he's scary, and these blades that he's shooting out also do damage, and he also throws fire. But aside from that, that's pretty much his attack pattern. He's very similar to Skeleton. So as you do this Pumpkin Moon event, you can see it kind of goes along here. I'm going to try and speed things up now because you've kind of seen both of the bosses. I'm just going to kill all of the enemies here, and I'm going to speed up the waves. As you progress in waves, it spawns more and more bosses and more enemies more quickly. So once we make it to the final wave, which is wave 15, you get an achievement, which I've already gotten in the past, but you also have to deal with infinitely spawning Pumpkin Kings and Morning Woods. And so I want to show that off, so I'm going to just kind of destroy all these enemies as fast as possible. Alright, just destroy them. Mind you, you do also have a DPS check here. because if you don't manage to destroy enough enemies to get to the final wave, you won't get to see the end of it. But yeah, so yeah, once you get to the final wave, wave 15, it just will infinitely spawn enemies and bosses, and it spawns them quite quickly. As you can see, I now have 3 Pumpkin Kings on the screen and 2 Morning Woods, and most players cannot handle with this level of enemies, so they just kind of die. But you can rack up a cool old score here. That score can get pretty high. Like I said, it will not stop until the next morning, so let's go ahead and we'll just change it to dawn. See you guys. So yeah, the Pumpkin Kings just kind of go away. And you can see they just drop so much stuff, and I can't really go over all of this stuff. There's just so many different weapons and items that you can get. The Pumpkin, or not the Pumpkin King's Blade, but the Horseman's Blade is the major item that you want from that to make the Zenith. So we'll go ahead and set it to nighttime again, and we'll set the naughty present. And yeah, so we got our Christmas themed music and our Christmas themed enemies, like naughty elves, I think. So our enemies here, and gingerbread men. And here's our first boss-like enemy, our Evergreen, or Everscream. It shoots ornaments at you, and it shoots like, I think it also shoots missiles at you. But we're not going to worry about that. The next boss we have is, if we can get him to spawn, there it is. So we have our first, our first boss of the next type, which is the Santa NK1. It's like a Santa tank. Shoots at you, drops those explosive balls, and rains presents down upon you. Truly terrifying. And those are definitely not the kind of presents you want to get, because they hurt very badly. We've got elf copters and Krampuses and all these interesting Santa or Christmas themed enemies. You know, Everscream somewhere. I don't think that there's any item you need from this to spawn or to make the Zenith, so it should be good overall to skip this event here if you wanted to. But it is a cool event. We have one more enemy that we have to fight, and she will spawn in this wave. The Ice Queens are the final bosses that we can fight. Here she is. So this is the Ice Queen. Each of her attacks is fairly quick. She moves fairly quick herself. And she does a lot of damage because she can freeze you in place, in other words she can prevent you from moving, attacking, and so forth every time she hits you. So the Ice Queens are massively dangerous. We'll go ahead and get to wave 15 so you guys can see what that kind of looks like for this as well. And destroy all the enemies. Of course, if I was taking damage here, believe me, I probably would have died already from the Ice Queen's attacks. Ice Queen does a lot of damage, and her freezing mechanic is just deathly. Pretty much the end of you. So you really gotta get used to dodging with her. Alright. Almost on wave 15. There we go, wave 15. So with this one, in wave 15, we gotta get the bar full, and then we can see the points as well. At least I think there's points for this one. Maybe there's not, I forget. I thought there was also points for this. No? Oh, okay. There's no points for this one. I thought that there was points at wave 15, but yeah. If you get to wave 15, that's pretty much it. And then you just start spawning a bunch of bosses. Same as you do at the Halloween event. I guess this one just kind of goes endlessly. Maybe there's another wave plateau I don't even know about. Let's find out. Let's just keep going on the waves a little bit. Because now I'm kind of curious. Maybe it's 20. Is it plateau? I do like this music, even though it's like weird and Christmassy, it's not too bad. 18 is definitely not the plateau. I know we're killing Ice Queens by the dozen. Man. As you can see, I just put out so much damage with this here Zenith and the armor that I've got. The solar armor is just so good for the Zenith. Combining the two is just amazing. What about wave 20? Almost there. If it doesn't stop at wave 20, I'll just stop it myself, because you've pretty much seen the entirety of the Ice Wave event. Same with the Halloween event, this one doesn't stop until morning, so if you started it really early, like I did, and you're just fighting endless bosses, you'll probably die. Oh, and death does not stop this as well. I should have made that clear. Death does not stop this or the Halloween event. So you can just Zerg rush it, but at a certain point, that just becomes kind of tedious. Okay, so it's wave 20 that the points start coming in, but you'll need to get to wave 15, I think, for the achievement. Oh yeah. That is the Christmas event. So we'll go ahead and we'll stop that one too. Dawn. Santa NK1 just kind of runs away. So as you saw, when they end, the event ends and the spirit of Halloween rests and the spirit of Christmas spreads cheer. So if the spirit of Halloween is out, then that means the enemies will drop items as if it was Halloween, such as the goodie bags. So if you're farming for those, you want to definitely fight the Pumpkin Moon a bunch. And if you want to get the Christmas stuff, then you want to do the Frost Moon. I was just completely blanking on what it was called. So yeah, only other events we have are the Eternia event and the Moonlord. And where is my platform? Okay, so I set this up earlier and I tested it out to make sure that it works. So we'll go over here. It's just right on the other side of my jungle. And almost, man, I really forget how slow my little shrimpy truffle is. He real slow. Okay, so here we are. Oh, excuse me. Here we are, and now when you do the Eternia event, from the Tavern Cube you can buy an Eternia Crystal Pedestal and Eternia Crystals. So that allows you to summon the Eternia event. It begins this wave-like event. You also get some Defender medals from him if you talk to him, which allow you to summon sentries that use up these Ethereum mana, which are kind of like a tower defense, because this is all based on, I forget what the game is called. Criminies. What is that game called? Oh boy, I feel bad now. It's a tower defense game, and it's based in Eternia, and it has all sort of stuff. Oh my god, I feel terrible now that I've completely blanked on it. But yeah, it's built similar to this, and when you put the sentries down, you can put a bunch of them down, more than you usually would be able to, thanks to the Ethereum mana. It allows you to put a bunch of them down. I would show that off, but I just don't have that type of sentry right now, so I'm not really worried about it. As you can see, all the enemies will start like heading towards the crystal, and you must defend the crystal. If the crystal gets broken, the Eternia event ends, and you're just kind of out of luck at that point. So there are a lot of flying enemies. There are enemies that like have dynamite, explode. It's very similar to that one game, which I cannot remember the name of when crystals get attacked. As you see, they focus more on attacking the crystal than they do on you. So you want to stay near your crystal, or at the very least make sure that you're keeping a close eye on it. So yeah, as we'll progress, we'll see the different types of bosses shortly, I'm sure. So there's a little break time in between each wave, so you can kind of set up more towers if you need to. And your crystal does regenerate life? Yes, it does regenerate life very, very slowly. It is very easy if you don't have very good weapons to fail this event, though, so just be aware of that. What else? Yeah, I would mainly worry about the flying enemies first. Criminies. What is the name of that game? You know what? I can set up this rainbow crystal and I can try and find out what the name of that game is. What is it? It is bugging me. It is bugging me a lot. So yeah, this is pretty much what it is. Just defend both sides from enemies. It's a cool event. You do want to avoid making sure nothing gets to it. It's part of the old ones. Where is it? do. We haven't managed to see a boss yet. Oh, there's one, a dark mage. So there's a dark mage. He summons like little skelly boys. You see the little skeletons, and he kind of floats his way in there. I'm gonna destroy him. We do have to make sure that we keep protecting the crystal. Let's see. There's a lot of stipulations of this event, like how you can't have this area on a blocked area, so you can't have like walls and stuff up to defend these areas. You have to have a flat ground to be able to make this event work. So that's a whole thing. The major thing you're trying to get out of this is these defenders and medals. You can pay those to the tavern keep to buy different stuff. Ah, that's what it was. Okay, I just looked it up on my phone. Sorry, I went kind of quiet there. It's Dungeon Defenders. So this whole thing is based around Dungeon Defenders, the game. And yeah, so they did like a crossover event with Dungeon Defenders. This is what came of it. At least for Terraria side of things. You got this cool wave defense sort of thing. So there's the other type of boss, aside from the Dark Mage. It's the Ogre. He's a big boy. Look at him go. He has this big club. I think he does a jump attack, and he swings his club. And I think that's it. I don't think he does anything else, as far as I remember. Oh no, wait, he does one other thing. He spits. Sometimes he like spits out a loogie at you, and it slows you down and gives you like a debuff. Makes it easier for him to do that stomp attack against you. I think the uneven ground is the reason why that some of these enemies are appearing purple. If you notice, some of them are kind of purplish. That's because of the uneven ground. Otherwise, they're usually just normally their own color palettes, whatever they may be. Alright. As soon as the Attorney event ends, by the way, as soon as you're no longer in the waves, the Ethereum mana disappears and you can no longer spawn as many of the sentries, so I don't think you can go around using a bunch of sentries to fight a boss or anything. Unless I guess you could potentially fight them simultaneously as you got the old one's army going. I forget how many waves this event is. I think it's like 7 or 8 or something like that. So we're almost done. Yeah, where's that ogre? He's over here on the left side. Alright. Dealt with. Our mage on the side? Yep. Our mage. Then there's one final boss at the very end. We'll be fighting. Another fairly fast-moving, kind of scary boss. It's either this wave or the next one, I think. We'll find out here in 10 seconds. So yeah, this event is kind of cool and it's really fun to do before you defeat the Moon Lord, but at the same time it doesn't give you massive benefits. Alright, so here's the final boss of the Attorney event, and it's Betsy. It's a dragon. She has this attack pattern. I don't think she enrages. I don't remember her enraging. She does have some really deadly attacks, and she's pretty quick. So she's no pushover, especially because of how much damage she can do. She is comparable to something like a Fishron or the Empress of Light in damage. So don't look at her like a pushover. She's the only one of these bosses that actually drops a treasure bag as well. And boom. You get a whole bunch of extra defender medals for doing that, but we don't really need them. And you get a treasure bag from Betsy. You also get Betsy's egg, which is just a little dragon minion, I think. Where is it? Oh, that's because I don't have my cosmetic minion shown. There you go. There's your little flying dragon minion, aside from this dragon minion that I've got. This cosmetic that I'm currently using is a Phantasmal Dragon from the Lunatic Cultist. I would go and do the Lunatic Cultist as well, because he's technically considered a boss. The reason I'm not going to do the Lunatic Cultist is because I don't want to do the lunar events. I really don't. This video is going to be pretty long as is, even though I'm kind of rushing through these bosses so quickly. But yeah, we're just going to fly up here in the sky, and we're going to fight the Moon Lord. If it was a thing that I could summon the Lunatic Cultist easily without spawning the lunar event, I would... Actually, maybe I should. I'm going to regret this, aren't I? Technically, each of the pillars is its own little boss too. Heck with it, fine. We'll go do the Lunatic Cultist, because I'm going to feel bad otherwise. That means we're going to do the lunar events, and we're also going to fight the Moon Lord traditionally, instead of using a Celestial Sigil. Ugh. Words. Alright, so here we are. Killing his cultists, and here's the Lunatic Cultist. You'll see that even the Lunatic Cultist will get destroyed pretty quickly. Yeah, kind of burning through him. This is still Master Mode, so he's still not like easy by any means. But yeah, that is the Lunatic Cultist. And so he even dropped his pet, which that's the pet that I'm currently using, the Phantasmal Dragon. Oh, he also dropped his hat. It's kind of a cool hat. Go ahead and research that. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and go do the pillars, and then we'll fight the Moon Lord after we're done with the pillars. It's going to take me a little bit of time to get all these pillars. Here I was thinking this was going to be a nice short video, and I was going to make everything quick, but I got to explain a bunch of stuff, and I guess for being the last episode, having it be a little bit long is okay. Where is our pillar? Okay, there it is. You know what I can do, though? It's because of the way the pillars work. We can just increase our enemy spawn rate up to max. This is 10 times what it usually is. And yeah, it's pretty quick. Enemies spawn real fast. Thankfully we can just kind of destroy them though, because of how fast we can kill them in turn. Seeing my Zenith do 1,000 per crit is always crazy. It is very nutty. I guess I haven't shown off the last prison at all. It is my favorite weapon in the game, even though the Zenith exists and it is a really strong weapon and I've been using it this entire time. I guess I can show off the last prison. This is the strongest magic weapon in the game. It is the Death Laser. In God mode I can use it infinitely, but if I'm not in God mode, it drains your mana so insanely fast that it's really not worth it to use in anything but a magic set. But yeah. So it starts out in like multiple different lasers that all converge into one, and it becomes like that. This is one of the 2 magic weapons that drop from the Moon Lord. The other one being the Lunar Flare, which is this weapon. Shoots lasers from the sky. It's a really good weapon because it homes directly onto your cursor, wherever your cursor might be. It shoots through any blocks that might be in the way, aside from any enemies. It will just home straight to your cursor through blocks. So, like the Zenith, it's really good because you can hit enemies through walls with it. Yeah, those are my 2 magic weapons. I figured I'd just show those off. Why not? They've been on my bar. You'll probably question it. And that is 1 pillar down. So yeah, when you're doing these pillars with the Zenith, it's just insane how fast you can do them. Even against like the solar pillar, for instance, you just absolutely wreck them. Should I turn off God mode for the Moon Lord? You know what, I'm gonna turn off God mode for the Moon Lord just so you can see how insanely fast even the Moon Lord just melts with the Zenith. Just to kind of show that off. How far away are we from pillar? Pillar's over in the hollow, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Oh, I also forgot I have my Rod of Discord. I could just be teleporting. What am I doing? Oh no. I'm a fool. Forgive me. Forgive me for forgetting that I can just teleport infinitely because I have God mode. Yeah. Not super interesting because of the whole we destroy absolutely everything, even as is, but still kind of interesting. Yeah. Oh. I forgot to use my buffs this entire time. That goes to show how much damage we do. Even without all these extra buffs, we just do so much damage that enemies get melted. I'll go down here, make sure we're getting all the different enemies. This is one downside to have these pillars spawn, is definitely if it spawns over in an area where you've got NPC villages. Oh man, those NPCs are pretty much dead. There's not a lot you can do about that. Got those, got that. Alright, yep. I don't even really know what to say here, aside from the fact that I'm just destroying it. You can just kind of see that, like, even the worms that go in the walls and whatnot, it doesn't matter. Kill just about everything in 1 or 2 hits. The Zenith is just so ungodly strong. And once you have it, there's really no reason to use just about anything else, unless you're like me and you like the Nebula set just because of the fact that it gives you your friends buffs. But yeah. Good old Zenith. It's a good weapon. It's definitely worth it to get and use. Alright, so that is the bubble for the Stardust. And that is that. Now that I've remembered that I can teleport infinitely, we will be able to get to the other pillars much faster. Forgive me. I have sinned. I have wasted some people's time. I'm so sorry. We'll just keep teleporting. And we're already at the next pillar. Easy. Oh, this is where we fought. Oh no, all the Christmas stuff. Get it out of my inventory. Okay. Really don't need any of these drops from any of this stuff, I guess. Most of it I've already duplicated, and that which I haven't I don't really need. Or if I did, I could always get it again, because I can just duplicate the items to get it again. So overall, I just don't need it in my inventory. Many different reasons. Yeah, not really a whole lot going on. This is just kind of how fast you are able to do these lunar events. Truthfully, the hardest part of the lunar events is getting the shield down, and then once it's down, you know, killing the pillar is insanely easy comparatively. It just takes so much time because of you have to wait for enemies to spawn. Mind you, this is, again, enemy spawn rate at 10 times speed. So, yeah. Enemies do not normally spawn this fast. And that is, of course, the Nebula Pillar. Let me go ahead and pop on over to Solar Pillar. Just get going. Get zooming. Zooming insanely fast. There we are, Solar Pillar. So, yeah, thrilling. The Solar Pillar is definitely, in my opinion, still the hardest pillar, regardless of what class you play. It's really hard to deal with these enemies that rush at you. But with Zenith, you really don't have to worry about even the Solar Pillar, because most of the enemies can get hit by it. Even their projectiles get hit by the Zenith if they're able to get hit, which makes it much easier to deal with. And it's kind of a joke, really. Zenith makes just about everything a joke, though. The last prism also does make things a joke, I should also point out. The last prism is just as effective as the Zenith. The only thing that the Zenith can do that the last prism cannot is do slightly more damage. I guess I should underestimate that. It does a lot more damage, and it also goes through walls. The last prism does not go through walls, sadly. If it did, I would just use magic instead of melee, even though the Zenith is really good. Just because I really like using the last prism. Last prism is just fun to me. I like using the crazy magic laser. It's cool. Crazy magic rainbow lasers are definitely in. Just like dragons. Dragons are cool too. Alright. And we have beaten that. So that is that. Let me turn enemy spawns down to the normal. There we go. Turn to normal. And then we'll just fly upwards. We'll just fight him up here in the sky. Oh, there's a sky on there I've never found. Interesting. Yeah, we'll just fight the Moon Lord up here in the sky. Let me turn off God mode real quick. God mode has been disabled. We'll buff up. And you'll see how quickly we'll destroy even the Moon Lord. So you can see that I'm taking damage from the Harpies, so you know I'm no longer in God mode. And this will be our final battle. I don't think I will die fast enough to make it a problem, but we'll find out. Usually I equip more survivability items, but I think we'll be able to kill him fast enough. Yeah. It's okay, Moon Lord. I know I'm destroying you. Oh boy. He actually got us down to half health. We got that speed boost from our Shrimpy Truffle. It's kind of impressive. Yeah. That is the Moon Lord. I'm not in God mode, and he almost killed me. I have 40 HP left. But yeah, that is how fast you can kill the Moon Lord. With the Zenith, a whole bunch of different buffs, and the solar armor, and a whole bunch of damage accessories. So that is the end of Terraria, truly and honestly. I've had so much fun doing this series, just kind of showing off all the different things in the series, and I've really, really loved Terraria. And if you haven't had the chance to really get into it and like beat the Moon Lord and go through your first time, I would recommend you do. Beating the Moon Lord is not as difficult as you might think, and it's fun. Get some friends together at the very least and go just kick out his teeth in, because with friends it's just way easier. And it's fun kind of coordinating that sort of stuff. So regardless, if you haven't had a chance to play Terraria, definitely go play it. What else did I want to show off? Oh, I wanted to show off one last thing. I wanted to show off... what was it? It was the Torch God, that's right. I wanted to show off the Torch God. So there's one secret that they added in Journey's End, which I'm going to show off. Or at least try my best to show off. And that's the Torch God. So there was a huge debacle about torches in Journey's End when the Journey's End dropped, and a hidden stat called Luck. Now there's a hidden stat in Terraria called Luck, and it's a stat that kind of determines how lucky you are for your drop chances. It's determined by certain factors, and there's certain things about it that are kind of dumb, especially when Journey's End originally dropped. There was one thing that was exceptionally stupid about it, and that was that you would have really bad luck if you put a bunch of torches from a biome that it's not supposed to have, like basic torches, for instance. Like the basic torches that I use, just normal torches in an area they're not supposed to be, like this granite biome, for instance. But we're just going to go ahead and we're going to plop down a bunch of torches. We're going to wait, and eventually the Torch God will spawn from this. Now, there's a lot of enemies here. So the Torch God is like a hidden event, and typically you should do it before you get into hard mode because it doesn't really do that much damage. But okay, so the Torch God is spawned. So this is the Torch God event. You just want to avoid the torches as they come in towards you and attack you. And they don't really do that much damage, honestly, at this point. I think I can take a hit or two. Yeah, 46 damage. I'm still in my Spectre armor on this character, so they really don't do that much damage. But if you're doing this in like pre-hard mode, it's pretty hard. You gotta avoid these torches shooting at you. And the idea behind this was that this was a remedy to the luck system, and how you could get around it is you'd set up this event here with all these torches shooting at you, and you avoid all the torches, at least avoid in the sense that you'd not die from them. And once all the torches went out, then you'd get, where is it, in your inventory, yep, you'd get the Torch God's Favor. So this is an item that you can get once you complete the Torch God event, which we just completed. and it unlocks the ability to toggle to the left of your inventory. When enabled, normal torches change to the according biome. So we'll just activate it, and with it activated, when we're in a biome like the Crimson, we put down Crimson torches. So yeah, that's pretty much how that works. And because this is still counted as Crimson, we'll put Crimson torches down. So yeah, that's the Torch God. And that is truly like the last silly little event they decided to add, and why they said special thanks to the Torch God in the credits. I just wanted to show that one last thing off because I never managed to do that in my normal playthrough, or never really saw a reason to. But that affects your luck, and your luck affects your drop chances, so if you do want to have really, really good luck, then you can have that. They did change the luck stat when they also added this, so you can no longer have negative luck, which means that you can no longer have a negative to your drop chances, just a positive. So that whole thing was remedied anyway. So the Torch God's favor is now only really just to increase your luck and nothing else, because you can't have negative luck. But yeah, that is the end of Terraria. I just did all of the bosses in order, or at least mostly in order. Did all the events, destroyed the Moonlord for the second time, and I just want to thank everybody who managed to watch up to this point, or anyone who had anything to do with Terraria and like its development. And yeah, I guess that's the end of this. As I stated in the previous episode, I don't really know how much more video making content I'll be doing in this format of like series, but I've had a great time doing this, and I hope if anyone does watch these all the way through and you've gotten to this point, I hope you enjoyed them, and yeah, I don't really know what else to say, so I guess I'll just say goodbye until the next time, if there is one.